My game was sort of a London. Yours was only true London, and his was like a Verisov.
Yeah.
D4. What move order do you play? Knight f6.
D4, D5.
Okay.
B4 or bishop F4. Bishop to F4.
Good move.
Knight F6.
Let's turn off Stockfish. Knight f6.
Knight F3.
Okay.
C5.
Okay.
E3.
Okay.
Knight C6.
Okay.
Bishop to
so
E2.
this position you'll get into again.
Yes.
And you just forgot what
No,
I told you yesterday.
I actually just I meant to move it. I actually wanted to put my bishop onto D3, but yes, I did forget about the knight to D2.
So if you play bishop D3 right away, I think
he pushes
C4,
and then I bring it back, right? And then I would have been
well,
fine.
you could, yeah.
That's how I like to play it because then it gets into a stonewall structure I'm used to.
But knight BD2 is like the most precise move
Yes,
order.
yes, 100%. It completely.
And I think this would have thrown him off. Because if he's used to playing queen b6,
yep,
and then you take,
yep,
he wouldn't be used to this position.
Yes.
And if this happens again,
yep,
we looked at this yesterday. If
takes rooks over,
they probably won't take on b2 if they're not familiar.
Okay.
So they could do a few other things. I think you would be happy here. They could take on c5,
and I would be fine with that.
Yeah, but there's a really nice move for white here, a3. Simply preparing b4.
Yep, and knocking
then you want to play c4, and you actually it's more of a queen's gambit where black's queen is just terribly misplaced.
Okay.
I've had this position a good number of times, like bishop g4, like b4, queen b6, c4. This is fun.
c4.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I pawn from queenside.
The other thing he could do, if you play knight bd2, he might start thinking and then develop the bishop to like f5 or g4.
Right.
And there's tricky ways to play against both of these moves. If he plays bishop f5, it's actually really nice for white. You just take the pawn.
Okay.
And he has a hard time defending. Like he can't play e5. If he plays e6, you can just defend like knight b3.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
And it's hard for him to actually win the c5 pawn.
Okay.
Like a5, you probably have a4, and then like the idea is bishop e5, knight
very cool.
His bishop gets hit.
All right, well, let's get back to the game.
Yeah, I'm just saying if this happens again,
yes.
And then if he plays bishop g4, you can just play c3.
Okay.
And like then you're ready to do
exactly
stuff.
what I want. Yeah.
Okay, so you played bishop e2,
bishop to
which
B2.
I think is still playable.
Yep.
He plays
queen to b6. I played b3. I was even debating here putting my knight to b2 or my b to d2, even at this point.
bd2.
Or taking the pawn, or taking the pawn, and then knight to b2.
The problem with that, it's very similar to the other line. Only you would have this move bishop e2 rather than being able to play bishop b5 in one move. And he could probably play queen c3.
And then I would just castle queenside or kingside.
Kingside.
Right. Yeah. Black just go e5. No.
E5.
No, instead in that because you just have to go queen c3 right away, right?
That's true. Just e5.
Well, then maybe go rook e1 or b3. Actually, I don't know.
Wait, knight take e5. Wait, what?
Yeah,
knight take e5?
Just rook e1, rook b3 on the agenda.
Tactics.
So, but black can play something like e6, right? And just start developing his pieces a template sooner.
That's probably true. Yeah.
If it helps, I wouldn't have seen this. So. I would have gutted it to that point. I would have gotten there. Don't get me wrong.
It just seems like if white ever has to go b3, then that's not great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, I would prefer just gambit the pawn.
There's actually a cool move after bishop e2, queen b6. That's very tricky London type move, knight c3.
Okay.
You defend the pawn with tactics because he can't take because knight b5, and white just wins.
Right.
Like you're either trapping the queen or like knight c7, unstoppable. So knight c3 would have been tricky. And you're threatening you're threatening to win with knight b5.
I think that just because it was a new opening for me,
yeah,
I just needed.
It's difficult to find this move without having seen it many times before.
Yeah,
and I mean, almost always in the London you put your pawn on c3. But
okay,
yeah, okay, b3. So you're still doing okay.
Yeah.
B6?
So
or he played bishop
b3
f5 first.
and then bishop f5.
Okay.
I castled. So what I was really concerned about him was his knight coming in and fooling around with my c pawn. No, his knight on.
This move.
Yes.
It's not a huge concern because he's not fully developed. Like worst case scenario, you play knight a3 or knight e1.
Okay.
Or even bishop d3.
Yeah.
And like there's so many moves to meet knight b4. If he's going to play knight
and
b4,
then
he's going to think about it.
But I was then feeling like if I was doing any of those moves, I was dropping my pawn on the d file.
The pawn's defended 3 times. And only attacked twice.
It's attacked 3 times.
Well, if he moves his knight.
Oh, if he moves his knight.
Then it's attacked twice.
Okay.
So like...
jeez. Okay.
If he
plays... but my intention was to move the knight over to the h to
oh, you want to play...
Yeah, I wanted his...
Well, it depends on what black does.
Yeah. So I was very much just trying to get... I was trying to get my king safe.
Yeah.
And then I would figure it out from here.
Yeah. I mean, this is still fine.
Okay. So then
E6.
after I castled, he went e6, h3.
Okay.
Just safety square for my strong bishop. I just wanted to get my position into like equal as much as possible. Bishop to e7.
Bishop e7.
c3. And then h6.
Okay. So he's also he's preparing for knight h4.
Right, but I wasn't sure if he was making his, and that was my plan.
Sure.
But I wasn't sure if he was going to castle queenside or kingside. Right. So I'm also like waiting here a little bit.
That's true.
I'm just doing my wait.
Castling queenside is not usually good for black, especially in the London, because like your bishop cuts through the position, and you have breaks on the queen side.
I understand, but it would have thrown me off that I would have had to deal with a pawn storm potentially.
Yeah, like he might. Yeah, he's maybe making you think about G5.
Exactly. So that's what I was waiting for, and that was my intention with h3 originally. So not just a safety square, but I had planned to put my bishop on h2 and then pawn storm. So c3, h6, knight b to d2.
Fine.
And then he went castle. Knight e5.
Good move.
Rook f to d8. And then bishop to h2. And so this is when I was kind of happy for a brief moment.
Yeah, I think it's a solid position.
I have weaknesses, of course, on the queen side, but I thought if I made maneuvers on the king side, I would put the pressure back right on him. The problem is that he's got pieces over there, and so I wanted to redirect his pieces over to the queen side before I did anything on the king side.
Right. There's a few, like this is very typical for a London structure.
Oh, really?
But there's a few good things about black compared to normal structures. In normal structure, you would still have your pawn on b2.
Exactly.
And his bishop is sometimes
behind
c8.
Yeah, behind.
So
pawns.
Black has more possibilities when it comes to pressuring.
It's the same theory with Stonewall, I assure you.
But yeah, I mean, you still have your play of like f4, g4.
So that's what I was looking at, and I didn't know when to do it, and I think I waited too long.
Okay.
So that became the problem, is that I got in front of myself a little bit.
So you played rook c8?
He played rook a to c8. I played a3. This was a wasted move, I believe. I was trying to stop his knight from coming in so that I could push a c4, or...
Wait, a3, stop his knight from coming in.
Again.
Oh, thinking about playing c4.
Yeah, and I don't want to deal with I don't want to deal with potentially losing my rook over here. If he does an exchange, bringing his bishop over to the a file, and my rook has nowhere to go, and so I'm like just going down, and there's already a rook on the file. So I was just trying to hold that line.
I think you can probably just ignore the queen side for.
I should have pushed. I should have stormed.
I mean, g4 is risky, but like.
So
what else
if we go back a couple of moves, before I did the bishop to h2, I was thinking of before that. I was thinking g4. He goes back to h7. I push into g5.
That's very possible.
I was looking at this for a very strong moment, and then if he takes, I take. He takes my knight potentially, and then I've got that pin on his knight.
Oh, and he has nowhere to move the knight. Actually, yeah, he can't take on e5.
That's what I was thinking. So I thought, okay, that safeguarded me, but I was already down. I think I was down in my 20s, and the guy still had 60 minutes.
Yeah, you were taking a lot of time, but
I was listening to my coach on the team. So
I kind of like this for white.
I do
Makes
too.
the position more imbalanced, a lot sharper. You have the G file, which your king looks exposed, but
it's not.
You use it to your advantage. Like you're ready to move your king over and put the rook on G1.
Oh, you would move it to H2 instead of H1?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I would H2.
Actually, I don't know
because his bishop is blocked. Yeah, no, I like my pawn on F3.
Actually, it depends.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna play F4, then king is probably safe on H2.
Okay.
But yeah, this would have been interesting.
That's the one. That's the game I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I stopped myself.
What would happen if black was queen c7 after instead of
in this position?
Yeah.
F4.
And like knight e4.
I'd take the knight. I'd take it. And then I move my bishop to f3, potentially, or to d3, and win that strong line.
Yeah, you definitely take the knight.
Yeah, I don't want to lose my bishop and.
Do we have to trade?
I would take his bishop. Yep.
Is it playing, I guess? Yeah.
And king h2.
You would move the king here. Okay.
I mean, what else to do?
I was looking at getting his bishop off the strong squares. So.
Oh, like bishop f3.
Bishop to d3.
It's possible. I mean, you have bishop d3 or bishop f3 anytime you want. Meanwhile, his bishop's just staring into blank space.
Oh yeah.
So I thought, why not improve the rook?
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a good point.
One thing also note, if you go
that's a very good point.
If you go bishop d3 and black takes and goes queen take d3 and black plays something like queen c7.
Wait, in this position?
Yeah. So just like for example, you're gonna want to watch out if black wants to like keep the knight on the board, because if he can play knight e7, see how he could go like to f5 to d6 to e4.
It takes a while though.
Right, so you'd be cognizant once you trade the late squared bishops, right? If you leave the minor pieces on the board and let black, kind of maneuver around for a while.
I don't know. I kind of like.
Probably not.
From a positional standpoint, maybe it's okay for black.
I feel like his king is very exposed with those.
If
four
black
moves.
gets like 4 tempi, like double up rooks on the g5.
If black, it's gonna take 2 tempi to put the knight in f5, right? Knight e7, knight f5.
Yeah.
And if I just leave it there for a minute, you see how it's also gonna cover g7. It's gonna be useful. And in the meantime, I'll go rook a8 and then c take d4 or something.
Well, so let's play it out a little bit.
This is a Dimitri way of playing, just so calm.
And then e7, then cd4, rook a8. And then
so I don't know.
King h2, knight e7,
yep.
rook
G1, over to g1,
knight f5.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the knight's actually good on f5. But the knight's also good on e5.
Yeah, but I can go f6 or something.
That's true.
Why am I not doubling the rooks and owning that g file?
Maybe we'll even sack someday g7, or even go like sometimes when you double up rooks, you want to just go push the h pawn.
Yep. But I'm even looking at a sack, right?
We all got to shake and win.
This is really strange. So we're streaming, I think. Are we streaming? Yeah, we're streaming. Oh, someone followed. But the chat is completely empty, which is never the case.
Well, I mean, they see my face, they're very scared, they're running away.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm very Russian.
I was suggesting stuff, and apparently I'm on live stream. Okay.
No pressure.
Okay, so this is a Dimitri way of playing, right? But the knight
I know what's going on. 2 other people are streaming, including Fiona, who's like super popular, so that's why no one's really looking. Oh, we have one comment. Kiyomi H, one of my biggest fans. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, okay, this would have been more fun. Like this.
I would have had this. This is one of my type of games, and I just did not play into it, and I don't know why.
Right.
No, I can see because black has looming because you played b3 and black, his improved version. So black's threats are more.
Like white wants to play aggressive, black wants to play position.
Right.
So.
I can see why you're taking precautions going like a3 on the queen side.
Yeah.
Because. It's scary. Black, if you don't, black can just take and go bishop a3.
And what I thought was I was luring him over to the queen side with his pieces so that I can go and just not even give 2 hoots over on the queen side. I'm trying not to swear on your stream.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's supposed to be kid friendly, so. Yeah. So you didn't play g4.
No, so I played bishop to h2. I think g4 would have been it. G4. What did Stockfish or what do one of those things say is the best move here?
So let's guess. Stockfish will probably say some move like bishop h2.
Okay.
But I don't know. Let's see.
Maybe you take go on Spanish.
Oh, knight takes c6. I mean, Stockfish just likes black, just because black's pieces are.
Oh, I was looking at knight c6 and then g4 as well.
You were looking at what?
Knight c6, knight takes c6,
oh, and then
g4. And then now I don't have to worry about
knight on e5.
But I liked it there. Yeah, exactly. And especially if I was planning on going in pawn storming, I'd rather have all the pieces to my advantage.
Yeah, that's very typical London stuff.
Yeah.
Like my game too. I just put my knight on e5, like leave it there, and it causes so many issues.
Yeah.
So.
I just felt very constrained here. I thought I was playing like a Karo Khan.
Like we can see what Socrates thinks about G4. I mean, G4 is a very human move, which computer is not scared. Computers have no fear. Take. But from a human standpoint, this is much easier to play for white because your ideas are so straightforward. Like King H2, get the G file. Meanwhile, black is not really having a clear plan.
But what is it?
It's saying Queen C7. I mean, I would play F4. Yeah, if the top move is Rook A8, just no human's gonna feel comfortable here for black.
Right. Okay. Well, lesson learned.
That was an interesting moment, though.
Lesson learned. There was some other cool, fun stuff that I thought through thoroughly. So I felt proud of myself, even though I lost, because I actually used my time.
Good.
So,
I noticed that, yeah. So you played Bishop H2.
I mean, I was going pretty deep. I think I was trying to count myself down to like 6th or 7th move across 3 different scenarios.
I see.
And that was what I was like, that was my metric that I was targeting. Can I do that and maintain that for all the tough situations? And I felt comfortable because there was moments where he clearly didn't see the 6th move or the 5th move.
Right.
And so I won a pawn in the end game and he just didn't see it. And I felt very proud of that moment.
Yeah, when you play games like this, you'll start realizing that like players rated over 2,000 are still have deficiencies in their play.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay, so where are we at?
He played Rook A8.
Rook AC8. I played A3.
Yeah.
He played C take D4.
C take D4. Okay.
I played C take D4.
Yeah, most of the time in the London, you want to take back with E pawn.
But I thought if I was doing that,
but then C3 is weak. So that's
I thought C3 was extremely weak. He would take on E5. I would take back.
That's actually true. Yeah.
And I'm very worried about his bishop coming in with the rook maintaining it and winning that B pawn as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the issue with playing B3 earlier. But this is okay. Like maybe you get B4 at some point, like B3.
And that was my intention, was to try and do that. So knight takes E5, D take E5, knight to D7. He did not see that I was going to take with the pawn. That was nice. I saw he was very confused.
Oh, because he was ready to play bishop C2, maybe.
Yes, and so he thought I was going to take with the bishop.
I see.
I played B4.
B4.
And then this is question mark for me, A5.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was the strongest move he had.
So I mean, it's very typical break given the setup in black's position. He wants to undermine.
So I thought his white squared bishop was very strong. Mm-hmm. So I did a move to try and blockade it. So I put my pawn onto E4.
So sacrifice.
Sacrifice, but for position and for breathing room.
The problem is when he took with pawn, right?
Yes. No. He took with bishop.
Okay. Similar. The problem is if the position opens up, like his rooks are well placed, so when the D file opens up, there's going to be more pressure on you. It's not worth giving away a pawn. Probably you want to hold on to material.
Okay,
here.
so what would have been a good point here? Is a queen to B3?
My first impression is to play B5.
So that's what I was thinking through, and I thought he wins it back. How did I see he won it back?
Do you have A4 at some point, maybe? I mean, he has this annoying move, bishop
yes,
C2.
So I thought it was bishop over my queen to E1.
Right.
Forced, and then I thought that he just would do what here? I did see this. Is it bishop back to A4?
Bishop A4. So this is one of the points, I think, for white is I don't know if he's actually threatening to take because you have rook B1. This pin is pretty menacing.
And then the rook up?
Like rook C5, A4.
How can he go A4 if you're
like bishop, okay? Let's imagine you play knight F3, which is you want to get your knight to D4.
Yep.
He takes.
Yep. Now I put my rook here to hold it. Got it.
There's lag. But yeah, and you're winning the bishop because it's pinned. It's attacked twice. He could defend it once, but then you have A4.
Okay, and then he would take the bishop most likely, right? Or
yeah, actually things get traded. He might win some material.
I think he wins material here.
Take.
Yep, I take and he wins the rook. And my bishop is stuck on H2.
You don't want to take the bishop. You want to take the pawn on B7.
Okay.
And then if we count material, he has a rook and a bishop for the queen. You're on material.
Well, if I'm looking at the situation, I also have to free my bishop on H2.
That's true.
So I almost feel like I'm down.
But this is a good scenario for you.
Yeah.
You won his queen.
I can immediately activate my knight, right?
But your knight is good. Your knight comes to the center. Exactly. Your bishop can come back to f4. Your king will have breathing room.
Yep.
His pieces are passive, like his bishop on e7 doing nothing. Your rook's very active. Oh, this is preferable.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like where you went with that.
b5, it looks overextending. It looks weakening. But it's kind of a must-play move.
Listen, I thought it was one of my grandmaster moves. Okay, so and I wanted him to take with the pawn. It surprised me that he took with the bishop. So I was actually happy because that bishop had been annoying me all game.
Oh, and after e4.
Yeah. So I was actually happy that he took.
It's still interesting because his pawn's weak. So he took with bishop. You take.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I was able to pull a little bit of tactics here. So I actually did this entire scenario down to this level. So he took with the pawn. My queen went over to b1. And then he took the pawn, I took the pawn, his queen took, I took his queen, his bishop took, and then I was like, aha, rook to a4.
So I was wondering, did you consider rook to b1?
I did.
Or even rook, want to play rook fb1? No, rook ab1. Because I thought you might want to win this pawn first. Because this pawn's kind of weak.
Okay. But I don't know. So, I didn't think I want it somehow. I thought his rook. Oh,
maybe the issue he has bishop c3.
I think that's. I was looking at these lines. Yeah, but this my life would have been a lot smoother. I think this way.
Actually, I don't know, because he wins e5.
Right, but I take his bishop or his knight, and I'm feeling a little bit more secure.
But you're down 2 pawns.
Yeah, but they're all constrained to one side of the board.
Right, but this is black in full control.
Yeah.
Like f5's coming, his rooks are good.
Oh, you know why I didn't like this one is that his knight came to e3 or d3 in the end. I don't know why that annoyed me.
Yeah, d3 squares.
The post, and then like I would have to trade off the bishop, and then yes, he's winning as soon as I had to exchange.
So maybe rook a4 best move.
I really did enjoy it.
Yeah,
I felt powerful. He went from like 60 minutes on his clock down to 20.
Okay,
well, that's or 35 on this.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was very happy with this one.
Yeah, the position, like, it's a little bit better for black, but if you can neutralize a b pawn with the e pawn, it should be holdable. I
think it was 35 minutes. Yeah. So anyway, like I just felt like I got back a little bit of breathing room from this one. So he ended up going to bishop to c3 to try and win it. Sure. I took. He pushed to g5, which surprised me.
Yeah, g5,
and here's where I made a mistake. Move, but, here's where I made a mistake. I went h4.
h4.
I thought I had an opportunity here where he gave me tempo, and I should have leveraged it a little bit better. But I think I saw that Sam had lost or something like that at this point, and I was just like,
"Were you trying to win?" Or,
yes, I went from trying to like.
Yeah, you still need to equalize here before you can play
to yeah. And so here I thought I could pull some moves like he'll go for my pawn, I'll go for his king. And I've got 2 bishops, so I thought I had some snipers.
Yeah, I mean the bishops could be effective later, but you got to reorganize your pieces.
And that's what I was intending to do. You know, move f3, move my king out, move to bishop to g1, and free it along the very powerful line.
It takes a while. I think
I ended up doing it. It just was too late.
Yeah, I mean h4 is a typical break. I just don't know if it does anything
right here now. So let's take a look at other options.
Yeah, the first move that comes to mind is just rook b1. Attack the pawn. Like if you can improve a piece with tempo, it's usually a no-brainer. He would probably defend somehow. Maybe rook c7. I was actually thinking like g5 was intended to prevent f4.
Yeah, exactly. But I was thinking I could just push f4
right away.
Yes, I was looking at that.
Which I don't know. Again, maybe he just ignores it and does something else, like knight c5 or something.
That tricky knight, though.
Actually, you know what? He has knight c5 in this position, too. It's uncomfortable for white. The problem with this position is your pieces are just not on great squares.
Yeah.
Like this bishop's super passive, this rook's inactive, this bishop's doing nothing, this rook's tied down to the pawn.
Compliment me a little bit more.
Yeah. But it's a type of position where if you can transform and reorder, and like things open up on the king side, then
so my intention at this moment was get my king active as well.
Yeah,
in the center. I heard that from somebody last night named Michael. So so that's what I was trying to do. So I went here. I think he brought his let's see what he did. So I went h4. He went knight c5.
He went what?
Knight c5.
Knight c5. Yeah, knight c5 is good.
I went rook g4.
Rook g4.
I was thinking about rook to c4, but I didn't like where that was heading because then he could just push the pawn.
Rook g4 looks good.
I thought this was okay. Let's see. So I had 14 minutes 47 seconds at this point.
Okay.
Rook d2. He had 28 minutes.
Rook d2.
I immediately went bishop f3 to try and earn back some time. Rook to d4.
Yeah, he was resourceful. Because like he's kind of stuck on the king side, but he's creating counterplay.
Yep, and then rook b1 is what I went. But I don't know if that was the right move or not. But I thought it was pretty sharp.
Yeah, like what else to do? Rook b1.
And then this way I can move my king to f1. You know.
I mean, you could try and like get initiative. Like you want to keep the initiative here and keep improving with initiative. So maybe one way to do that is to take.
Okay.
He would take here.
Yeah.
You take, he takes, and then you play f4, also with initiative.
Okay.
And the goal is to just open lines for your pieces.
Yep.
Like if
but I was worried about him just pushing.
Bishop.
I was worried about him just pushing and letting me take it. Because what damage
like
is doing? Yeah. What damage is this?
Well, this is what you're hoping for to get some activity on the king side. Let's say he pushes again.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have g6 immediately. Maybe you have bishop here. You're just trying to poke at him.
I understand. And if he continues to go?
b3?
Yep.
g6. The thing is, like, if your bishop ever gets
king
to this
becomes
diagonal,
the blocker there.
Yeah,
that's my point. And my black bishop is not actually.
But your rook is covering b1, so
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Black still has to work to promote. Let's say you play g6.
Okay. His king goes to f8.
King f8 in this position.
You don't think so? Oh no, that would be a check. That would be a check. Yeah. So he would have to push past, right?
Push. What do you mean?
Just leave it alone.
No, if he pushes the f pawn, you either like f5, you take on passant.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm super strong there. Oh wow, how did I miss this?
It's counterplay.
How did I miss this?
But it's not something you miss. It's something that you kind of understand that you're making threats. You have initiative. So like take. This is maybe most likely what would happen this night.
Okay.
And that's the benefit of having the bishop pair, especially when there's pawns on different sides. You use your bishop as kind of a multi-purpose piece.
Okay.
So
no, keep going with this one because I'm
I mean, there's chances for both sides now.
Yeah.
Like, black's still probably better, but there's I don't know. There's a fight.
So yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go back. Oh gosh, I can't believe it. And I looked at that too. I looked at f4 a lot. At a lot of different times.
Because it's interesting how quickly you build up initiative, like just with your bishops.
Yep.
Okay, you play rook b1.
Yep.
In this position?
Yes, in that position. Rook b1.
You provoked bishop e3, therefore play bishop d6.
Okay.
You have an improved version.
Let me change the name.
Rook takes
What is your
G4.
opponent's name? So Pekin.
Narayanan. Narayananan Rishi.
Okay.
So rook take g4, bishop take g4, and then bishop to d4, king f1.
Okay.
So what I was worried about with if I didn't move my king was his knight coming in and harassing that f pawn.
Yeah, that's true.
So king to f. Where did I go? King f1. Let me find it. Rook b8. H takes g5. H takes g5. Rook to b5.
Good move.
b6. Bishop d1. So this is a question one for me. I moved this really fast, and I don't know if it was the best
D1.
one. Huh?
I mean, your bishop's doing nothing on g4.
Yeah, so I thought I would activate it.
I would be tempted to improve this bishop.
Faster.
Go f4.
Well, I was worried about here. What was I worried about?
Maybe take in knight d3.
Take in the knight d3. I was worried about that knight move.
Yeah, that's true. And bishop.
But
G3.
I think
like your rook defends your pawn.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I could have done that.
And you're restricting his knight. You're ready to play king
E2.
I mean,
it's so much easier when you can see it on the board instead of in your head.
Yeah.
And in time control.
When you're in time pressure, that's tough.
You guys said this was going to be fun to come out of retirement.
We have not yet had any experience retiring from chess.
So taking a step back, this is a 2000 player. I haven't played like professionally in a tournament properly for 12 years. I felt pretty damn good about myself.
No, you put up a fight.
Yeah,
like you made.
I made him work for it.
You came up with some resourceful moves.
Okay, so where were we at? Rook to b5, b6, bishop d1, knight to a6.
Knight a6.
Yes. So he was planning to go to c7. I played f3.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to control the white squares when his knight does get active and need to help go push that pawn down. Meanwhile, whenever he releases the pressure on that e pawn, I get to move my h2 bishop out and finally
bishop g1 ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So that's where I was at with that mindset. Knight c7. Rook to b4. Oh, sorry. I thought you were looking at it. Bishop c5. Rook to g4. And I don't know if this was the best move. Bishop e7. So I was happy with that, but I wasn't sure if my move was the best move at the time.
Let's see it.
Bishop to g1.
Oh, so you don't go after the g pawn.
I was thinking about it, and I thought maybe push f4. Or I was thinking bishop f4, but then I thought he had ideas around knight to d5.
Take it.
Oh, okay.
You win back your pawn.
Oh, that's a big win.
Oh, wait. No, he doesn't have that.
No, I thought I was really worried about the fork on e3, but he doesn't have it.
Your cover, if he takes, you take the check.
I should have done it.
And your bishop comes to b3, where it's blockading the b pawn. Black's still better with the knight, but it should be a draw, or draw-ish.
Why are you this good?
I mean...
Oh, gosh. All right. It's just a skill.
It happens.
All right. Moving on. So, I did not do that.
Okay.
If we can go back. So I went bishop to g1.
Bishop g1. Oh.
Knight to d5.
Yeah. That was your one opportunity to win the g-pawn.
Yes. Bishop to b3. King h2.
King h7.
Oh, sorry. Yes, king h7. King e2. So should I have taken the knight, do you think?
I think so. Because
what I was worried about was getting my rook back in time to hold.
Well, you have a bishop too. You have a king, and you weaken his pawn. So like all the black pawns are potential weaknesses.
Yes.
So maybe what you can do is like rook to d4.
Yeah, to d4.
And just hit this pawn.
Yeah.
And if he moves
to hold,
like the only way to defend it, actually might be a good move.
And then rook down.
But maybe then you just play like rook.
Yep, exactly.
And then
now I'm attacking
b5,
both.
Then you do this. Oh, then he has b4.
He has the bishop. Yeah, I don't know if taking was the best, so I didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean black's better in all these lines, but
bishop to b3, king h2, or sorry,
king e7. Yeah.
E7, king to e2, knight g to f4 check. So he was just trying to put pressure on me. After all the results were starting to come in.
Yeah.
King to d2. Rook to d8. He had a lot of tricks here with his knight, so I was just trying to avoid them.
Knights are tricky.
Yeah, so he went rook to d8 check, king to c2. And then rook c8 check. I went to king b1.
Okay.
And finally king h6.
Yeah, I mean white's just worse.
So
Your rook's kind of stuck.
And then I did a really bad move here. I did h3 or sorry, g3. Yeah, I didn't think that went through, but I did it too fast. I was under 5 minutes at this point.
And why is that bad?
Knight came to harass my bishop. Yep. And I was worried about him bringing his rook down.
Oh, rook c1.
Yeah.
Live with it. Bishop f2.
So
or bishop e3 maybe.
I went. So rook f2 or bishop f2, rook c3 is what he did instead.
Rook c3.
Yeah. I didn't see that one.
He's just winning the pawn.
Yeah. So then bishop c2. I don't like to give free games away, so I was at least trying to maintain. Who knows if he screws up. Rook takes f3. Bishop takes b8.
b6.
Yeah, b6, sorry. b6. I can't read my own. b6. Rook takes g3.
Okay.
Rook c4.
Yeah, just down 2 pawns.
Knight c3 check. I thought he might have made some mistakes with his knight here, so king b2. That's why I didn't give up right away.
Sure.
Knight to d5. And then this is when I kind of knew that it was over right at this moment, when he didn't bring it onto the
ace. No, you keep fighting. Like, he has the way he's going to win this is by pushing the pawns.
Exactly.
And then you have to
I was trying to like skewer and fork and any of that
you
type
have 2
of stuff.
bishops, yeah.
So knight d5, I went bc5.
Bishop c5. Okay.
Yeah.
Normally, if you have the bishop here, you shouldn't trade it.
Well, I saw him going knight to e3 to fork my bishop anyway.
Oh, I see what you. Well, maybe is that what you're hoping for? Let's say you play bishop d4.
Okay.
And he plays knight e3. You play rook c3. You pin him.
Okay, but let's take a step back. He doesn't have to do that, right? So,
but
so if I went to bishop to d4, now his knight, what can he do? So I was looking at bishop check at a3.
Bishop a3, king a2. Actually, this is scary.
And then knight
b4 check.
To b4.
You're getting massacred here. Knight b4.
But he can't go knight.
Oh, he can't go rook g1. Ooh, okay. King b1.
Yep.
I forgot.
Yep.
Yeah, like this is what you're hoping for, just some stupid
exactly.
Like
some silly thing.
Like put your bishop far away.
Yes. Yes. That's so you nailed it. But at the end of the day, these are all the things that I was looking at.
Yeah.
I thought I had more chances with a skewer or a fork later. So bishop c5, bishop takes c5. No, bishop c5. Wait, we went back a little too far. King to b2, knight d5. b5, bishop c5, bishop takes c5, rook takes c5, rook to e3, bishop f5. Just trying to throw him off. Rook takes e5.
Yeah, I don't think we have to go any further.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Food. Oh, people are talking. Okay.
Striptease in the background.
Okay, we're gonna end the stream here. Thanks guys for watching. That was not interactive at all, but hopefully people learned something. Maybe I'll be back in the future with better games.
Awesome.
Yeah. And there's finally viewers. Too bad we're ending. How do I end this? Stop streaming.